on Homes of Hope Fiji podcast. I'd like to welcome you, and my name's Inise Wiale, and I'd like the other two beautiful ladies that are seated with their back straight to introduce themselves as well.
Bola, I'm Iniata Menada, and I'm a staff of Homes of Hope.
And Bulavanaka, I'm Linny, and I'm also a staff at Homes of Hope. And I don't know about you two, but I am really hot.
It is.
It's very hot.
So this is our third episode recording, and we are in the middle of March, and there's a huge thunderstorm that's coming for those of you that are watching, which means humidity is really, really high. And
Yeah.
we are all hot. So bear with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you feeling today, Auntie Yata?
Well, it's quite hot, and having this dress is not making it any easier.
We're trying to look nice for you people.
For those of you that are watching, there's a link at the bottom of the screen, so feel free to click on it, and so you can watch other episodes that we've also done. So today we're really going to talk about the mission of the campus that we're on. And to start us off, I'm going to ask Auntie Etta, who's really an expert on all of this, to kick this off for us.
Thank you, Ini. Okay, the mission of Homes of Hope. In our previous episodes, you have heard about Homes of Hope, the vision of Homes of Hope, and what actually happens on campus. So we have a twofold mission, which is one, the campus itself, and the second one is the community.
Yep.
Right? And as you are all aware that, the residents that we have, the different cohorts that we have at Homes of Hope, they come from a community, right? And in those communities we have, they come from families in those communities. And I know after hearing the two last episodes, you would be asking, so how do you work in the communities? We talked about communities. Okay, let me maybe at this stage share with you a bit on, how do we get communities to engage and how we engage with communities. A couple of years ago, Homes of Hope did a scoping exercise, and after that followed by a CAP baseline survey, where we visited the whole of the nation of Fiji. We spoke with stakeholders, government stakeholders, private sectors, NGOs, and also civil society organizations on the subject of forced sex.
Yeah.
And we were able, with the help of these key line stakeholders, we were able to identify communities that we now term as hotspots.
Yeah.
And there are reasons as to why they are red flagged, and there are reasons as to why they are known as hotspots. And also, we also work with communities that we call girl-driven communities. And so these girl-driven communities are actually the communities where girls are referred from. Yeah. So currently we are working with 16 communities. So you may ask, why only 16? Of course, we do not want to, stretch ourselves too thin.
Right.
And these are, communities that, as I've said earlier, that has been targeted as hotspots, red flags. So you may ask us the question, so what are...
What classes then
Yes,
as a hotspot?
As a hotspot.
Right.
I'll maybe at this point I'll share a bit on why they are rated as hotspots. As listeners, even hotspot or red flag, that gives an indicator itself, right? So after we did this extensive exercise, one of the key factors of it being a hotspot is the high rate of teenage pregnancy from these communities, and also there's a rise in STIs, sexually transmitted infections, and there are other factors that can contribute to it and being termed as a hotspot.
One would also be the rate of school dropouts.
Yes. And the ages are getting younger and younger in terms of the school dropouts.
Yes.
Yeah. having primary school students just, loitering in the communities and not going to school. That could be one of the indicators.
And I think, to be clear too, with this CAP survey that we did around the nation, that was all 3 divisions.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right, totally.
right.
Yeah.
And with you saying that the ages are getting lower, as you go to town, you see a lot of children,
Right.
the children that are loitering,
Yeah.
Right.
sleeping on the streets.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be in schools, and they
Yes.
look like primary school
Yes.
students,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Yeah. And a couple of years ago, we were fortunate enough to be, to partner with an international organization in forming a task force, right? And there was a group of like-minded CSOs that wanted to combat these social ill. And there were about 21 civil society organizations that came on board and joined hands with us in this fight to counter what we call forced sex.
Yeah.
And so through this course of time, we were able to, share with us some toolkits that Homes of Hope have developed through the years of its service. As we heard in our other episodes, we have served about 1,000 girls that have benefited from the service of Homes of Hope. Yeah, and we are grateful for the opportunity that we were given. We were asked to work with these organizations and other government ministries in countering trafficking and countering this, this problem of forced sex in the communities.
And so can you explain maybe what these toolkits, the various toolkits, who the target
Sure.
is?
Yeah. Through the years, Homes of Hope had learned a lot.
Yeah.
And the stories that has been gathered through the years from the recipients of the service, and that's our strength.
Yeah.
And so one of the toolkits that has been championed now is what we call the thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Right. So thumbs up, Homes of Hope in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, at that time, it's about 10 years old now, more than 10 years old now. We were able to develop this toolkit, and our target audience were the teachers themselves. We wanted to start from the lowest level, the early childhood educators. And so we have the Thumbs Up toolkit, and it's just basically, teaching children to be protectors of their own selves, to be champions of their own protectors, not only children, but also their respective teachers. And it's a toolkit on prevention of child sexual abuse.
And it's safe touch and unsafe touch.
Totally. Yeah.
When I talk about thumbs up, it really what it says. Eh?
Yeah.
Right.
Thumbs up, whether it's good or whether it's bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. And another toolkit that we were able to develop through the years is what we called our CETA toolkit, Sexual Exploitation and Trafficking Awareness. And this was a toolkit that was used in that era when we were working with the civil society organizations. We were able to empower them, we were able to train them, and we were able to give them the toolkits, and they were responsible for creating awareness in their own area of influence. So those are some of the toolkits that, and we have specific target audience for those toolkits. We also have what we call a community development approach toolkit, and it consists of respective modules that we take to the communities. And this is a very interesting one, the community development approach toolkit, whereby we have brought our communities on board. The 16 communities that we have just talked about, they have different stages too. We have what we call the first stage is the social prep, whereby we get them to our campus, they get to see, they get to smell, and they get to hear, what happens at Homes of Hope, before, we work with them in their respective communities.
And with the community development approach, people that we invite over for that first and second phase are people who can make a difference.
Right.
Significant people in each community.
Totally.
And so they it's a week of with a lot of information, hoping that when they go back to their communities, they become the nets themselves.
That's right.
Protect the communities.
Yes, yeah. And one of the most important subject that we talk about in this community development approach toolkit is just as Inise has said, creating a community safety net. We all have our social safety nets, and we all have safety nets in our respective communities. It's just strengthening them, right? So when we talk about safety nets, we talk about who are your go-to people in the community. Should you be presented with a situation, what do you do?
Right.
It's just as simple as knowing who to go to, your safe person, and it's just simple as knowing numbers to call, right? Emergency numbers, and what are the practical steps that you can take should you be confronted with these issues.
Right.
Yeah.
And then can you also talk about, for our girls and their families, we have a toolkit for the families.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the moment, we are trialing this out, and it's still in the process. We have what we call our trauma-informed care toolkit, or trauma parenting, right? And in these toolkits, I had an opportunity to go with our counselors in one of our trips, doing family conferences in the respective communities. I had the opportunity to sit and listen to the facilitators as they speak with the families, and this particular topic was on connectedness. As you all know that in families, this is a subject that we cannot really talk about, but it's have been brought to it has been narrowed into relationship, and it's well received by families. And that's something that has really captivated me, having to continue to work with their families whilst they are here, while the girls are here.
And with our target audience being families, it's important to be connected, because most girls aren't able to talk about their problems and whatever they're going through, because they feel that no one in the family is will be able to listen to them.
And this is a very challenging factor, because stats prove that almost 90% of the abuse of the victims say that they very much know the abuse.
Yes.
So it can be a member of a family,
Right.
or from the same community.
And the culture of silence.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest challenges that we have, in our respective communities.
Especially, I won't lie, but the Itoke way, we protect. We will not. We won't talk about. We won't expose it. So the culture of silence really is happening in a lot of places. And like you said, stats. Imagine those are the known ones. Imagine those who are battling it alone and have no one in their own family. And I guess it comes down to us. What are you doing in your family? How close are you with your children? And are you sure that they're able to talk to you about anything that happens to them? Is that true? Or would you?
It's true, totally agree.
Yeah. So that was today's episode, and we hope that what you heard has helped to break down the barriers that you might have held towards yourself or others. For further information, you can always visit our website at www.hopefiji.org.
And if you have comments, questions, or you would like to share your own story, please email us at homesofhopepodcast@hopefiji.org.
And for those of you who live in Fiji, if you need immediate assistance, please contact the Child Helpline at 1325, the Domestic Violence Helpline 1560, or the Counseling Helpline at 5626, or Lifeline Fiji at 1543. Other services also would be available if you look online for Medical Services Pacific, Fiji Women's Crisis Center, or Empower Pacific. From all of us, Virak Vakalegu.
Mother Manda.